iLoop creates an internal port, virtual, if you will. We can create 1 to 24 iLoop ports. And what this allows me to do is, in the past with the AFs, generically speaking, when traffic comes in an ingress port or group and goes out an egress port or load balance group, whatever the case is, in between those two where it comes in and goes out, we can filter and we can provide an action. Once you create an iLoop, then you can go to the tap group and you can create a tap group. I can actually, now everything here is the same as previous, except there's 2 new added options, deduplicate and desensitive. I'll talk about what those are individually because those are new features. So I could actually, come in to a port and connect it to the internal iLoop. Now that allows me to do between here and there. If I apply a flow, the flow, the top part of the flow is the criteria for filtering, and then the bottom part of the flow is the criteria for actions, like encapsulate, strip header, all that kind of stuff. So that allows me to do all that kind of stuff between the ingress port and the iLoop port. Then I can turn right around and create another tap group from the iLoop port, using it as an ingress, do other things to the traffic, filtering or whatever we may want to do, and then ultimately go out an egress port. The deduplicate ability of the box, tap group table, and up here with your truncation and timestamp or add, this is your new deduplicate area. You can enable it. There are 5 preset internal traffic models for deduplicate consideration. I'm options, deduplicate times, and they call it old age, but aging. These 2 play together. If I put no limit, then we're eliminating this from the consideration. But if I put a 10 here and a 100 here, the way that it is described in the documentation, the deduplication is going to start looking at when it receives the first packet up to 10, then it will pause 100 milliseconds, and then it will consider the next 10, and it will pause, consider the next 10, pause. Now, deduplicate is enabled on the system. When I apply it, there's a couple of ways at which I can apply deduplicate. One is I can go into the tap group, I can add a tap group, and I can enable deduplicate. When I build the tap group, you'll notice that it is associated with the ingress side of the house when it comes to connections. And so, like for example, if I pick ports 1 through 8, then it's going to apply the deduplicate model to these ports. So we have the ability of creating 64, they call it desensitive, but it's data masking models. So like, for example, if I wanted to create desensitive ID number 1, I can tell it to start layer 2, layer 3, layer 4. I can tell it the offset number 0 to 62, notice even numbers, offset at 12, and the length, the length of the bits in the packet that I want to consider. We'll just say 10, and then I have the option of enabling to recalculate the layer 3 checksum. It's not the packet checksum, it's layer 3 checksum. So this is masking. Now I created and that just comes up. So we have this desensitive model built. So now if I go into my flow, I can apply desensitive per the flow under the action. Again, this is considered an action. I can pick my desensitive model that I want to apply. Now I can also, if you'll remember, I can apply this when I create the tap group. I can also apply it here on the tap group when I pick a port. So if I wanted to, add it to the port level and not the flow level, I can do that as well. We have a new option called Monitor Capture. Monitor Capture allows customers to actually capture their traffic that's coming in on a port, and they can display it. I'll show you how it works here in a minute. Or they can also create a PCAP right inside of the box and then open that up with Wireshark or whatever you want to. You have your global configurations for Monitor Capture. One is I can enable packet slice or truncation to it. I can also set it for a specific packet count, or I can also set it for a specific capture time. These are my three options as far as capture. I'm just going to leave them to global. And then I'm going to add a node or a capture point. And I'm going to, remember, I got this pass all filter. So I'm going to apply the filter to my capture, and I'm going to say I want to capture what's coming in port 1. Now, I can also say I want to capture what's going from 1 to 2 in this particular case, because that's where my tap group goes. And I'm going to add my nodes. So you'll notice now that I have 2 nodes, 1 and 2, down here at the bottom. I can start my capture, and you'll notice down here at the bottom, it's creating a text file of my data. And then I'm going to stop it once this check goes away. I can come down here and I can say packet view. I can actually see the packets that were captured. Now this displays 1,000 packets. That's the limit. I can actually see the packets that were captured coming in, all 1,000 of them. Or I can go back here and I can hit this button and it created a PCAP file for me. So if I download that PCAP file and then I go into my downloads, here's my PCAP. If I open that up, it's going to open up Wireshark, and here's my capture.